And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Mimsgrave versus Gilmore. Step forward.
19-year-old Brittany Mimsgrave is suing her former friend, Samantha Gilmore, for the return of money she paid to go on a cruise. Samantha says Brittany backed out at the last minute.
Miss Mimsgrave.
Yes.
Miss Gilmore was a friend of yours. You had been friends for a long time, according to what I read in your complaint. A group of girls decided to go on a trip. Where were you going?
We were going on a Mexican cruise.
For how many days?
A week.
And what was the cost to each girl?
It was $325 each.
Very reasonable for a whole week.
Yes.
Did they feed you on this trip for $325 for a week?
I actually don't know. I didn't go.
Do they feed you?
Yes, they do.
In any event, you paid Miss Gilmore your $325.
Yes.
She was making the arrangements. How old are you?
I'm 19.
And you?
19.
Am I correct that someone in the party had to be 21 in order for the girls to go?
Yes.
What you tell me in your complaint is that one of the girls, I believe her name was Ashley, was the 21-year-old, she backed out.
Yes.
So now you have a predicament. You've paid your $325, as have other girls, and unless you found someone else who was 21 years old, you couldn't go.
Yes.
So according to you, you waited for a while to see if somebody else was going to go and somebody else was going to go, and nothing happened, so you made other plans for that period of time. That's what you say. And according to you, Miss Gilmore decided to take her brother.
Yes, well, actually...
Decided to take her brother. He was going to pay for himself. And his brother had a friend whose name was?
Gaius.
Gaius?
Gaius Mike. And he goes by Mike.
Good. His name was Mike. Mike went on your ticket.
Yes.
And you want the money.
Yes.
Now, didn't Mike pay?
No.
Why not?
Because we had made oral agreement that Mike was going to pay after the cruise, but Brittany showed up at my house the day before we left saying that she wanted it then.
Just a minute. Who did Mike make the arrangement with? With you?
With me. He made with me and she made with me.
Just a second. So Mike made the arrangement with you that he was going to pay for the trip.
Yes.
And you told her that Mike was paying for the trip. That was your agreement with him.
Yes.
Now she's suing you because you told her you're going to get your money for this ticket. That's what you told her.
Yes.
Go get the money from Mike. She has no way of suing him because they did not have an agreement. The agreement was between the two of you. You have a cause of action against him if he breached that agreement and didn't give you the money.
Yes, but since she had come to my house saying that she wanted the money earlier than she had expected, I figured if she felt that she needed the money before, even though he wasn't able to provide it for her, she should have called the travel agent herself and said that, because what she said was she wanted her ticket or the money.
Madam, she could have done this and she would have done that, and if she did this, she wouldn't have been in that. She had an agreement with you. And the agreement was you were going to give her back her money because your brother and his friend were going on this trip with you. And if this friend stiffed you, sue him. He went, he had a good time. I assume he ate, right? Well, I'm sure his company wasn't that terrific that entitled him to a free ride, right? Right, Mr. Gilmore? You wouldn't give him a free ride.
Ma'am, she canceled out at the very last minute.
Are you following me? Your daughter made an agreement with her that she would get her money back. She has to do that. Now, since she did not gain anything herself, perhaps, unless she likes Mike, she has an absolute right to turn around and sue Mike for the cost of the ticket because he promised to pay her, and he didn't. She may have had a lot of other options. She doesn't have to exercise all those other options. She had an agreement with your daughter. Do you get it?
Yes.
Good. Now, you have a counterclaim for harassment and the expenses surrounding harassment. Ms. Gilmore, you want to tell me about that?
Yes, when she had decided 4 days we had agreed that Mike was going to take her place. We had made the agreement that he was going to pay after, and she kept constantly calling saying that she wanted the money earlier, and I told her that I didn't have it and that Mike hadn't given it to me, and she kept calling me, harassing me, and showing up. She showed up at my house the day before saying she wanted the money or the ticket, and the option was that she could call the travel agent and say that she wanted her place back because I didn't have the money. So she was calling me constantly, leaving me messages, called me when I was at work.
That's what happens when she feels as if you were stiffing her money. That's not a cause of action for harassment. You have to give her the $325, and I suggest that you and your father, when you leave here, you go to small claims court and you sue Mike for the trip that he took, that he enjoyed, that so far he didn't pay for. right?
Right.
As between the two of you, you owe her $325. Do you understand?
Yes.
Good. Goodbye.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She is getting the money, but hopefully she'll understand that it's from Mike
I think it's very unfortunate that it had to end like this.
and not me, and that it wasn't worth the friendship and it wasn't worth going to court over.
I mean, if someone's going to try and ruin a friendship over $300, it's not worth it.
Restaurant owner Nathan Hillesheim is suing former customer, 22-year-old Carl Thompson, for the cost to replace a storefront window and a neon sign. Carl is countersuing for medical bills.
Yeah, it's case number 585 on the...
Just take your hands out of your pockets. Stay right where you are. Thank you.
Yeah, it's case number 585 on the calendar in the matter of Hillesheim versus Thompson.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated, gentlemen. Have a seat, please.
Mr. Hillesheim, you own a restaurant?
I do, yep.
What kind of a restaurant is it?
It's a sandwich shop, Herbert and Gerbert's.
According to your complaint, Mr. Thompson came into your restaurant on a particular day. What day was it?
February 9th, about 1:50 in the morning.
And according to you, he came in intoxicated.
No, he was drunk.
That's what I said.
.256.
And he started a fight, and he went through your plate glass window. You want him to pay to repair the window.
Plus the neon sign was broke, too.
Mr. Thompson says in his counterclaim that one of your employees pushed him through the plate glass window, and he is counterclaiming for $5,000 for his medical bills and his pain and suffering. Right? That's your counterclaim.
Yeah, exactly.
How old are you, sir?
22 years old.
Where had you been drinking on the night of February 9th?
Well, I started at Scheid's bar, and I made it down to Brothers, and those are the only two bars.
What time had you started?
You know, honestly, I couldn't even tell you.
Was it dark?
Yeah, it was dark out.
Who were you with?
I was with a whole bunch of people, a whole group. There was like probably 15 of us out that night or so.
Who went to the sandwich shop?
It was me, Jared, my other roommate, Nate.
How many of them were you?
There was like 5 of us in there.
How did you get there?
I just walked.
From where?
Brothers Bar.
And what did you go in there for?
I just wanted to get a sandwich.
When you got in there, what happened, Mr. Thompson?
Basically, I was...
Do you remember what happened?
Yeah, I do.
You weren't too drunk to remember?
No.
Were the police called that night?
Well, yeah.
Did they take a blood alcohol reading on you?
Yes, it did.
What was it?
It was .256, but I must say this was after my arm was cut and I'd lost probably over a pint of blood. I don't know if that's going to affect my blood alcohol content.
Nah, you got plenty of blood, sir. You got plenty of blood.
It was a .256, yeah.
So well over the legal limit.
Yeah.
But you remember everything that happened?
Pretty much, yeah.
Pretty much.
After I lost all that blood in my arm, I started getting kind of out there a little bit.
You'd been to the restaurant before?
Yeah.
Ever had any trouble there before?
No, never.
So tell me what happened when you walked in.
Basically...
No, not basically. Look at me and tell me what happened. You walk in with your 5 friends.
Yeah, me and my friends went in there to go get a sandwich, and basically the next thing you know, I get...
I don't want to hear basically. If you say you remember what happened, sir,
No.
I want to hear what happened. Don't look down. You want somebody else to tell me what happened?
No.
Yeah.
Shh. Quiet.
No.
I'll get to you.
Fair enough.
I went into the sandwich shop. I was assaulted by another man.
Nothing happened first. You didn't say anything to anybody.
No.
Okay, let's stop with you. Let's go. Were you there that night?
No, I wasn't there that night.
You were. Step up. Tell me your name.
Name's Brett.
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 Where are you?
Where am I?
Yeah, you're in a court. Do you have a last name?
Keys. I'm sorry.
What do you do in the sandwich shop?
I'm usually a delivery guy, but at that particular night, I was working behind the counter.
Do you remember Mr. Thompson and his group coming in?
I do.
You remember what happened?
I do.
You want to tell me what happened?
Well, I was working behind the counter at the time, and I heard an altercation begin, so I walked around the counter and began wiping off the tables so I could make sure nothing got out of control.
What did you hear?
Right away, all I heard was just Mr. Thompson talking about this girl going home with this black male, and I didn't think anything of it at the time, but then...
Do you remember what he said?
I don't remember. I could just hear him saying something.
Your Honor, I could clear this up real easily, too, if you'd like. Like, get it explained.
You weren't there.
I know I wasn't, but...
Then you can't explain.
I've got a guy here, though, that actually can.
Oh, you have another witness?
Yeah, see, I think he was...
Well, just a second. If you have another witness, I'll hear the other witness because this one is fuzzy.
Okay.
Where's the other witness?
Dante? Gonna bring Dante out.
Dante who? That's okay.
Sorry, dude. John Blanks.
Dante. Here's your right hand. You swear to tell the truth in these matters?
I do.
State your name for the record.
Dante Pettis.
Mr. Pettis, I assume you were in Mr. Hilsheim's restaurant.
Yes, ma'am.
On the evening of February 9th.
Yes, ma'am.
Were you eating there?
I wasn't actually eating there. Me, 2 female friends, and another male friend of mine, they were actually eating. We were waiting for a cab at the time of the altercation.
Can you tell me what happened, if you remember what happened with Mr.
I remember
Thompson?
Very well. As we sat at one of the booths, he came up and was making comments towards, like, racially, saying, like, why are you going home with these guys or whatever? The only thing they're going to do is, like, sleep with you tonight and then never call you and things of that nature.
So he was addressing this group that you were with?
Yes.
Was he using any words that were negative?
It wasn't actually the words that was negative, it was just the demeanor of which he was using them.
How far was he standing from your table when he said that?
Oh, at that time he was maybe right at the end of the table.
So what happened next, Mr. Pettis?
I was a bouncer. I've been a bouncer in the city of Winona, so I know how to kind of diffuse the situation. So me and the 2 young ladies decided to go outside just to wait for the cab out there. And one of the young ladies walked back in, and I saw her say something. I don't know exactly what she said. I don't know who she was talking to or whatever. So I walked in following that. Next thing I heard was, oh, you think I'm racist? You think I'm racist? I'm the wrong MFer, to be called racist and this and that. Next thing...
Who was saying that?
He was. Then the next thing, he swung at me.
Swung at you?
Yes, he took 2 swings at me. I retaliated.
Take hands out of your pockets.
I actually retaliated. I hit him a couple times, and that's when Brent kind of came from behind the counter already or whatever. He tried to defuse the situation or whatever, and the young man over there was pretty drunk at the time, and he slipped through the window.
You don't remember any of that, Mr. Thompson?
Any of that just went on? I do remember some of that.
Well, how come you forgot all about that when you were telling me what happened? The next thing you knew, you said you got... When I asked you what happened, you said you walked in, and the next thing you knew, you got pushed through a plate glass window. You forgot all about this whole thing.
See, I didn't know. I thought I was coming here today to pretty much go to court over me getting thrown through the window. I didn't know any of this stuff was going to be part of it at all.
What do you mean you didn't know that was...
I didn't know. Pretty much what I thought it was like that. The only thing that I was pretty much going to come here to pretty much argue was just the fact that I was thrown through a window unreasonably.
Well, just a second. Mr. Thompson, there were events that led up to that. You didn't walk into a restaurant and order a tuna on whole wheat toast, and somebody said, I don't like people who order tunas on whole wheat toast. He'd go through a plate glass window. There was something that transpired, Mr. Thompson, that led up to an altercation.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Right here, you see Brett grab onto me, and I just get tossed and watch. Not only does he do that, he keeps throwing me around. Watch him.
I don't see him throwing
I'm still getting thrown. That's me right there, getting thrown around by him still. Look at him.
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Restaurant owner Nathan Hillesheim says a drunken customer, Carl Thompson, fell through a plate glass window in his store. Carl claims he was pushed through the window by one of Nathan's employees.
So when I ask you what happened...
You know, Your Honor, this is so ridiculous that I can't even believe this is... No, what's going on right now, Your Honor, is all these guys know each other. Like, everything that he said is flipping everything around. They're flipping it upon me. Like, I didn't say anything racist to him at all the whole time. There was nothing of the sort. I don't even know who was yelling out the door or whatever. And all of a sudden, the next thing you know, Your Honor, I'm sitting there, and he left to go outside, and he comes back in, and I get blindsided hit. That's what happened. That's how the fight started, and then I retaliated after that.
And when you retaliated, what happened?
Nothing. I just was defending myself on it. Like, he came and he blindsided, hit me in the face. I didn't even know what was going on, and like, I was just a scramble after that, pretty much.
I'd love to see the video, because I understand that there's a tape.
Yeah.
But take your hand out of your pocket. Wouldn't have had any trouble, Mr. Thompson, if you weren't drunk. Listen to me, sir. We wouldn't be standing here today if a 22-year-old didn't drink to the extent that he got diarrhea of the mouth and said things that he shouldn't have. We wouldn't be here today. Whether they acted appropriately or not is another issue.
Your Honor,
I'm speaking. The problem emanated from the fact that you lost control of your ability for reasoned judgment by drinking too much. And if you didn't, you wouldn't have gone through a plate glass window, and you wouldn't have had any problem. The problem started with you. With you. Because there isn't a question in my mind, Mr. Thompson, that you made statements to this man and his 3 companions that if you had not had too much to drink, you wouldn't have said. Now, whether they overreacted is another issue.
Exactly.
The fault lies with you. So stop thinking of yourself as a victim. How long have you owned the sandwich shop?
5 years.
How many times has somebody gone through your window?
First one.
You think it's an accident that the first person that went through his window had a 2.56 blood alcohol reading? You think that that's an accident?
Your Honor, once again...
I'm asking you a question. You think that it's an accident that in 5 years, the only person that went through his window had a 2.56 blood alcohol reading?
Your Honor, everyone that goes in there at that time of the night, Herbert's and Gerbert's is located by all the bars.
Just a second. Is what you're going to tell me everyone who goes in there is drunk?
No, but what I'm saying is that...
Just a second.
They have fights and there's always drunk people there, so...
I said to you, fine, very good. So what you're saying to me is that in 5 years of drunken people going into his bar at 1 o'clock in the morning, you're the first drunk that went through the plate glass window. And I'm saying to you, do you think that that's some sort of serendipity? Now I'll see the video. I've gotten it out of my system. Idiot.
If I could, Your Honor, it's a kind of choppy video. It's not very clear at all. Could I have Brett to actually explain what goes on the video?
You won't explain to me, sir, if I can't see it.
Oh, yeah, cool.
Mr. Pettis, can you tell me what's going on here, please?
May I approach the
Yes,
TV,
please.
Thank you. If you see, this is like the group of people. I'm actually standing over here, and he's right there. He just took a swing at me. The video's kind of chopped up. He took a swing at me. I retaliated, and that's how everything gets pushed over.
All right, so now everything is pushed over towards the window.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It was like when we were all over here, he was separating us, and at that point in time is when he slipped through the window. Brett actually...
Well, I don't see that point.
Yeah, Your Honor, this is not clearly showing it at all. I have a better video on this laptop over here where I can clearly go through it frame by frame, and I've got it. I can clearly show this a lot better, Your Honor. Yeah, there was absolutely no...
Take your hands out of your pockets.
Excuse me. Okay. Let's see here. And it goes frame by frame. Okay, you see absolutely everyone's just chilling. No one's really... I mean, he's just sitting there. There's some people...
But you get to the point where you're going through the window.
Yeah, exactly. I'm getting to it. It's frame by frame. You see Brett walk over right there. Right here, you see Brett grab onto me and start... He grabs me and, like, kind of, like, does a throw through the window a little bit.
I don't see that at all.
There I am right there. I wasn't stumbling drunk, Your Honor, not one bit. And I could just get tossed and watch him follow me through there. Not only does he do that, he keeps throwing me around. Watch him.
I don't see him throwing
I'm still getting thrown out to me right there, getting thrown around by him still. Look at him.
Does it look to you, sir, as if you keep trying to move forward as he's trying to take you back?
That's after I'd already been through the window. That's after I'd already been through the window, though. And he still kept on me.
Just a second.
Yeah.
So after you've been through the window, you're still off trying to get Dante? Is that what happened?
No, not at all.
Well,
no.
that's what looks as if it's happening here, sir.
No, not one bit. That's not it at all.
Take it back.
Excuse me.
That is not one bit. He grabbed me and started dragging me.
After this altercation, after he went through the window and he was still trying to come at me, that's when Brett had him, like, trying to restrain him.
When he went through the window, was he outside or inside?
Well, he fell into the window. He was like, his lower half was still inside of the store, but the upper part of him was kind of outside the store.
Got it. So when he got up, because I saw him get up
he got pulled back
inside
in.
the store.
Yeah, he was coming after me again. My buddy that was still in there pushed me outside, grabbed me, made me go outside, and was like, just telling me to leave. That's when his other friend decided to come out, and I guess he had a few choice words for me, and he wanted the altercation to continue.
You were there?
Yes, ma'am.
Up. Now, Mr. Orr, how many people got into an altercation that night?
2.
How many people from your group?
1.
Who was that?
Carl.
Carl who?
Carl Thompson.
Now, do you think that that's just a coincidence that of the 5 people in your group, the only one that was drunk got into an altercation?
No, ma'am.
You think that that was because he was drunk?
Yes.
Did you hear him make any comments at all to Mr. Pettis and the group of people that he was sitting with?
No, I heard no comments made.
So you didn't hear Mr. Thompson say anything to them?
No, the only thing that I saw is when he came back into the restaurant, and then I saw a punch go right at Carl's face.
The police were called. Were you there?
Yes.
Who was taken into custody?
Nobody.
Nobody at all? Anybody arrested that night?
No.
How come?
Well, I wasn't there, so my brother went down and handled it that night.
Was there a police report?
Yes, there is.
I'd like to
I think
see
this
it.
details everything
I'd like
pretty
to
well.
see the police
If you got any
report,
questions
please.
throughout this,
Could you just answer my question?
More than happy to answer them.
Somebody who wasn't there, you sure have a lot to say. Mr. Orr, you remember speaking to a police officer that night?
Yes.
You remember telling the police officer in response to his questions if they had been in a fight, that they both indicated that they had not been in a fight and you were with Mr. Thompson? Do you remember that?
No, I didn't say that.
Well, that's what the police officer says. Says that when the police arrived, they saw you and Mr. Thompson walking. He asked where you were coming from, and you indicated that you were coming from Scheide's bar, the opposite direction they had been walking, and well after bar closing time. So you lied to the police, according to the police. I exited my squad car and approached on foot. Again, I asked if they had been in a fight, and they both indicated that they had not been in a fight. I then observed a small drop of blood on the shirt of Orr. That would be you. Thompson was standing behind Orr and slightly offset. I then observed Thompson's left hand was all bloody and he was dripping blood, and then I requested rescue. That's what the police officer says. I'm just reading the police report.
Yeah, Jared was never actually in a fight at all. And like with me,
Listen to me, Mr. Thompson. If a police officer came up and I was all bloody, and I had been pushed through a plate glass window, and according to you, you had been blindsided by a punch to your face in the bar, and a police officer said, first, where are you coming from? I wouldn't have lied and say I was coming from a bar, because that was a lie. You would say I was coming from the sandwich shop. And then if I was asked by the police officer, was there a fight? I would have said, yeah, there was a fight. I got pushed through a plate glass window.
And I did. Your Honor, like I said, and it shows on the police report, I had bled copious amounts of blood. I'd been punched.
Thompson, not from your brain.
But by after the point when I went through that window, and at that point, like, I got no recollections even of talking to that officer at that point.
You know why?
Because I'd lost so much blood.
No. Listen to me. If you lost that much blood, sir, so that you were delirious, you couldn't have been walking.
I lost a lot of blood, Your Honor.
Oh, God. You're standing here, aren't you? Orr stated that a group of black males attacked Thompson at the sandwich shop. And then Mr. Orr, according to the police, at least said that Orr told me that one of the black males displayed a handgun in his waistband. I did not believe Orr about the handgun or the way Thompson had received the cut, because you told the police that he got the cut by being punched so many times. At CMH, I assume that's the hospital, I spoke with Thompson. He admitted that he had been kicked out of the bar earlier that night for fighting with some black guys.
That didn't even happen
Thompson
at all.
stated he was sitting in the sandwich shop eating when the black guys entered and began to racially harass him by calling him white boy and white. Oh.
Your Honor, at that point, that wasn't even right.
I know you were delirious from your loss of blood.
It wasn't even right of the police to try to get a statement at that point.
Just a second. Okay, what was the bill for the window?
The window to replace it was $344.96.
Cheap.
Neon sign was $90. Got receipts here if you'd like to take a look at them.
$434.96. Mr. Thompson, which is what?
$344.96.
What?
$344.96.
Plus the sign.
Plus the sign is $90.
No, I said $434.96.
Oh yeah, sorry.
No?
Yeah, you're right.
Let's do it again.
And I did graduate college, sorry.
No, I'm not good in math. I have one of these.
All right. See, you're cheating. You're cheating.
Right.
Mr. Thompson, you owe the plaintiff $434.96. Your counterclaim is dismissed. You brought the incident on yourself that evening. Next time, sir, don't drink. You can't handle it. Your counterclaim's dismissed. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
From now on, I'm going to go to the city council of Winona.
The guy was obviously drunk.
And talk to him about Herberts and Gerberts and all their fights that go on outside of there.
.256, that's more like a guy's batting average.
And maybe, hopefully, we can get something done. Maybe they just shouldn't be open that late at night.
99.9% of the time, no problems. 0.1, this guy, whatever, we'll deal with it.
26-year-old Ashley Beischer is suing the father of her child, Joshua Schmidt, for a loan to buy a motorcycle. Joshua claims Amy slashed his tires on 2 occasions.
All rise. Now, this is case number 521 on the calendar in the matter of Beischer versus Schmidt.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Gentlemen, have a seat, please.
This used to be your boyfriend. When you were having a lapse in judgment while he was your boyfriend, you co-signed on a credit card for him to buy a dirt bike because he couldn't get it on his own.
Correct.
And the agreement was that he was to make the payments faithfully on that credit card.
That's correct.
He did make payments for a period of time on the credit card, and you separated. But he agreed to continue to make the payments on his bike, which he was using and which he took with him. Correct?
Correct.
Then there came a time that you and your fiance, this would be fiance, went to purchase a car, and you found out that your credit was awful. When you checked to ascertain why, according to your complaint, you found out that Mr. Schmidt had not been faithfully making on time the credit card payments on his bike. So what you want now is you want him to pay off that credit card so that hopefully you can get your credit restored.
That's correct.
Mr. Schmidt says that he was paying off the credit card until you slashed his tires.
That's ridiculous.
Shh. So that the fault is really yours for slashing his tires, causing him to lose his job. Have we joined the issue, Mr. Schmidt? Hello? You say in your answer it's really her fault.
Yes, I believe it is.
Perfect. I would like to see the date of the credit card loan and the history of payments.
I have that right here. This only goes back a year. They wouldn't.
Fine. Okay. Now, Mr. Schmidt, on what day, sir, do you claim your tires were slashed?
On May 8th of 2006, I had 2 tires on my vehicle that were slashed. And then also again in October of 2006, I had another tire slash on my car.
Just a second. After which incident, sir, did you lose your job?
The second.
So it's really the October of 2006 incident that you claim caused you to lose your job.
Yes.
And fall behind in your payments.
Yes.
So it would be a fair statement, sir, that it wasn't until October of 2006 that you started making either late payments or skipping payments or anything else. Up until that time, they were okay.
Correct.
Okay, good.
Your Honor, can I point something out?
Shh. Maybe, if I need some help. Well, sir, in September of 2006, which was before your tire was slashed, you had a late fee of $39.
Okay.
That's before, right?
Yep.
And in August, which was before your slashed tires, you had a late fee of $39.
That would be after the first.
You just told me, sir, that you didn't lose your job until after the October incident.
Yes, but missing days of work.
No. Baloney. The issue was that after the October incident, you lost your job because of the tire slashing, causing you to fall behind in your payments. And you said to me prior to that time you were on time with your payments. So we now have August and September where you were late. Are you following me, Mr. Schmidt?
Yes, I am.
Who is this?
This is my witness, Jason.
Maybe. Jason. Now we have July. Late, Mr. Schmidt. And how much, sir, were you supposed to pay every month?
It's about $70.
So sometimes you didn't pay at all. And then you sort of doubled up the next month, right?
Yes.
You can't do that. You know you can't do that. Look at what we have here. A June late assessment. And you didn't make a payment. Whole month of June.
Is it possible, though, that me without a vehicle, how is it possible for me to get to work, to make money, to make payments on this?
What are you talking about? Who cares about whether you have a vehicle?
How do you get to work?
I don't care how you get to work. Walk. Crawl. Get your witness to pick you up. Now, let's go back to before the first incident, Mr. Schmidt, that you allege she slashed your tires, which you have to prove to me anyway. Let's go back to April. Now, even you will know, Mr. Schmidt, that April comes before May,
yes.
Right? How do you account for the late charge in April, Mr. Schmidt?
I don't.
Right. So the cock and bull story that you gave me is just that. You've been making late payments on this loan forever, because we also have one for March. So what do I care how you get to work? How did Abe Lincoln get to school? I'm waiting for an answer.
Walk.
That's what he did. He walked. And you remember from grammar school how many miles he walked to school every day?
No, I don't.
I think it was 5 miles each way, wasn't it, Bert? I think something like that. 5 miles each way. Do you understand, Mr. Schmidt?
Yes.
When somebody else does a nice thing to you, what you're supposed to do is not be a pig. If you want to, you get the loan totally out of her name, and then if you want to screw up your credit, you do it. But you don't screw up her credit. Now, How much is left on the loan?
The grand total is about $6,700.
Well, the maximum I can award you is $5,000. You understand that? And the check will be directly to the credit card company which holds the loan.
Yeah.
You're still responsible, as is he, for the remainder of it.
Right.
And he's responsible to pay it.
Right.
Who do you work for?
I actually just got a new employment job. It's DeLuca and Tobin. It's a drilling company.
Well, you would have no objection if they deducted the remainder of the balance, anything over $5,000 from your check, would you? Listen to what I just said. You owe the money. You have the dirt bike, don't you?
Yes.
The maximum I can give her is $5,000. That will be made directly to the credit card company. You still owe them about $1,600. Are you prepared to sign an authorization to allow them to take the remainder of the money at periodic payments out of your check?
Yes.
Perfect. We will prepare that order and send it over to the drilling company and any other company that you might work for subsequently. Do you understand?
Yes.
Perfect.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
Mr. Schmidt, you sure you want me to do this to your friend? You sure you want me to do this to your friend?
Yes.
Be my pleasure, sir.
And later today,
You can't complain about it if somebody says, this is really funny. I want to send it to everybody that I know who knows this jerk who posted this on Craigslist.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Ashley Beischer claims the father of her child, Joshua Schmidt, owes for a $5,000 loan to buy a motorcycle. Joshua is countersuing, claiming Amy slashed his tires twice.
Okay, let's get to the slashed tires. Did you slash his tires in May?
Absolutely
You don't
not.
look like a tire slasher.
No.
You didn't see her slash your tires, did you?
No, I didn't.
Did you?
I did not see her, no.
Step up. Your name?
Jason
Jason what?
Moyer,
How do you know her?
through him.
When was the last time you had any contact with her?
While.
A while is not a month,
Well,
a
I
year.
don't talk to her, but I've seen her around town.
When was the last time you had contact with her?
Last fall, or around there.
Tell me about that contact.
Well,
Look at me.
I was at the bar and I had walked by and
Bar, what bar?
Krieger's possibly.
What do you mean Krieger's possibly?
Well, it was either that bar or another one over there.
What time?
Probably 8 or 9 at night.
What date?
I'm not exactly sure.
What month?
October or November.
Mr. Schmidt, you sure you want me to do this to your friend? You sure you want me to do this to your friend?
Yes.
Be my pleasure, sir. You're walking by the bar that you don't know on a date that you don't remember, in a year that perhaps you remember, and tell me what you believe you have that is germane to this case.
Well, I had heard her and her friends laughing about how his tires had been popped.
Yes?
Yeah, so I assumed she had something to do with it.
Oh, well, then you assume. Good. Do you have anything else that's germane to this case?
I did pick him up for work, too, a couple times.
I don't care. Sit down. You have anything else on the tire slashing, sir?
I just have a copy of, actually, no, I do not have
Good.
this on me.
Thank you very much. Your counterclaim is dismissed. You owe $5,000, and we will prepare an order for the remainder of the $1,600 to be deducted automatically from your check. Forward that to your employer with my love and hugs and kisses. Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Please excuse me, step out.
I hope we have a friendship for my daughter's sake.
I do not know. Hopefully it gets better in time.
Just be a man. Take responsibility for his actions.
22-year-old Christina Sanchez is suing her ex-boyfriend, 23-year-old Seth Apodaca, for smashing out the windows of her rental car. Christina also claims he shot the vehicle with a paintball gun.
Order. All rise.
Now, this is case number 543 on the calendar in the matter of Sanchez versus Apodaca.
Thank you.
You're welcome, Judge. Parties have been sworn in, Your Honor. You may be seated. Folks, have a seat, please.
Ms. Sanchez, the defendant was your boyfriend.
Yes.
It is your claim that you made a couple of small loans to him about a year ago.
Yes.
But your real problem is that recently he got angry, a little
Yes.
jealous, and he vandalized a car that he thought was your car that turned out to be a rental car, and you had to pay the deductible on the car.
Yes.
Mr. Apodaca, as far as the loans are concerned, says that these loans were gifts. There was never an anticipation that you were going to be repaid for any of this money that you laid out for him. You were boyfriend and girlfriend at the time. And as far as the vandalism to the car, he sort of admits that he did it. But he said you deserved it.
No, do it again if I could.
Okay. What do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a machinist.
What kind of machines?
Computer program machines.
You work for a company?
Yeah,
How long have you been working for them?
about a year now.
A year ago. Did Miss Sanchez loan you any money?
And she paid a few bills, but they were gifts.
Tell me why she paid a few bills for you.
I lost my job.
Were you living together?
Yes, we were.
Where?
We were living at her mother's house.
So you weren't paying any rent?
Yeah, I was paying rent until I
Yeah.
lost my job, of course.
When you lost your job, you weren't paying any rent?
Yeah.
Try yes.
What?
Try yes!
Yes.
Good. Now, what kind of bills did she pay for you?
She paid cell phone bills, a car payment, helped me out with the down payment, but I paid her back for that.
Cell phone bill, a non-essential. I know that you people feel that it's an essential, but the truth of the matter is, we did get along for many, many centuries without cell phones. Put your hand down. How much was the cell phone bill she paid for you?
Well, I have a spending limit on my phone, like $120, and it's never been more than that.
How many months did she pay the cell phone bill for you?
Maybe two months.
How many months did you pay the cell phone bill?
4. I have the bank statements right here to show it.
Good. How much did you pay for a cell phone?
It was a total of $400. I paid 4 payments of $100 apiece.
Okay. What other bills did she pay for you, Mr. Apodaca?
Just car payment, that's it.
One car payment.
One car payment.
And how much was that?
I actually made 2 car payments. I also have that in my bank statements as well.
But I paid her back for that already.
You did?
Yeah, because that was income tax money. I paid her back.
Okay. But you do owe her for your cell phone.
No.
I say you owe her for your cell phone because if you have no job, you don't need a cell phone. Do you
Yeah, but
understand?
she paid it as a gift.
That's why you're here, for me to make that judgment, Mr. Apodaca. This isn't a back and forth, sir. You were living rent-free because you couldn't pay the rent after you lost your job.
She lived rent-free at my house.
Shh. Listen to me, sir. Did you ever pay her cell phone bill?
I bought her a $500 phone.
Just, did you ever pay her cell phone bill?
No.
Did you ever pay her insurance bill?
Nope.
Did you ever make a car payment for her?
No, I wouldn't do that.
Just a second. The answer is either yes or no. Listen, try not to be smart with me. You may think you're smart with other people, Mr. Apodaca. I assure you that she found you attractive. I do not. So with me, you're going to play it straight down the middle. I'm going to be respectful to you. You're going to be respectful to me. Do we understand each other, sir?
Yes.
Yeah. On what date did you vandalize her car?
It was February 11th, Your Honor.
Don't interrupt him. I was letting him think.
Sorry.
February 2007.
How did you vandalize her car?
I put 3 bricks through her windows and paintballed her car.
Shh. Excuse me?
I put 3 bricks through her windshield, her rear window, and her driver's side window, and I paintballed her car.
And you did that because you found her involved with another man?
Yeah, she's sleeping with my friend.
Just a second. Because you found her involved with another man?
Yeah.
Yes. But you were no longer together?
Nope.
How long hadn't you been together?
About a year.
Now, Mr. Apodaca, have you ever been in therapy? Listen to me, I'm being very serious with you, and I don't want to hear anything from you people. Do you understand? If I do, I'm going to empty out the audience. Do you understand? Have you ever been in therapy?
No.
How old are you?
23.
You live at home?
Yeah.
With whom?
With my bandmates.
Okay, but you don't live with family.
No.
I'm going to suggest to you very strongly that if you want to live a happy life, you should get yourself a little therapy.
I am living happy. I'm fine.
No, you're not.
Yes, I am. Perfectly fine.
Mr. Apodaca, have you ever been arrested?
Yeah.
Were you arrested, Mr. Apodaca, more than once?
Just once.
When?
A week after I paintballed her car, broke her windows.
I'm a lot older than you are. I've never been arrested. How old are you?
I'm 22.
Ever been arrested?
No, ma'am.
Is this your daughter? No. Who are you?
I'm
my boyfriend's mother, Your Honor.
How old are you?
I'm 48.
Ever been arrested?
No.
See, Mr. Apodaca, there are a lot of people in this room who are a lot older than you are cumulatively.
That's them, not me.
Who've never been arrested. Now, you say you're happy and you're living a wonderful, full life.
Yep.
And I'm suggesting to you, sir, just a friendly suggestion, that anyone who, after a year of not being with someone, has as much anger as you had a year later and vandalized her car in such an aggressive manner has issues that they really should be resolving with a professional. That's my suggestion. It doesn't require an answer. I've given you my reasons. I think that that kind of hostility and aggression after a long period of time is something that should be addressed.
Judge Judy continues in a moment. And later today,
he did move out before we even went to trial.
Well, but he moved out because there was going to be a trial and he was being...
he moved out because he got his girlfriend pregnant.
Oh.
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Christina Sanchez claims ex-boyfriend Seth Apodaca vandalized her car with bricks and a paintball gun.
Now, you had to pay a $500 deductible, is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
And he also owes you for your cell phone bill.
And the car payments, Your Honor, he never paid me back like he said he did.
Well, I'm not sure.
I have an email right here from him that actually has me asking him why he doesn't think he has to pay me back the money, and this is dated back to September.
Oh, I want to see what he says.
It's a bit vulgar, Your Honor.
I'd like to see just what his answer is. If you say it acknowledges the debt, I'll be glad to read it.
It starts at the bottom and works its way up.
Madam, he does not acknowledge the 2 car payments. He owes you $900, $500 for the vandalism that he did on the car and $400 for the cell phone. I'm not getting involved in the stereo that you say you sold to him for $200. That's nonsense. That's all. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $900. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
She's psycho. She's always causing problems with me, always wanting to fight.
I thought he was a good guy, and the fact that, you know, I thought we were going to be together.
She has my friends. She's living my old life.
But he wasn't.
It was the first time that I had, seen them together.
Can't help what happens. Like, you can't help who you love.
I got angry, knocked on the door, wanted to call him out so I could fight him.
He was there for me when Seth left, when I was pregnant.
He didn't come out, so I got angry and smashed her car windows.
I think it's just like the judge said, he needs a lot of therapy.
When someone breaks up with you, move on with your life. Don't stick around the friends.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Fairbank versus Pavonsa. Step forward, please.
17-year-old Christina Fairbank and her mother, Janet, are suing Christina's ex-boyfriend, 18-year-old Rich Pavonsa, for crashing their car on 2 occasions and for a loan to go to the prom.
How old are you, Miss Fairbanks?
I'm 17.
This is your mom?
Yes.
And that used to be your boyfriend?
Yes.
How old are you?
18.
You went to high school together?
Yes.
Your complaint, Miss Fairbanks, is that you allowed Mr. Pavonsa. Is that the way you pronounce your name?
Yeah.
Is that close enough?
Yeah,
What's your
close
first
enough.
name?
Rich.
Rich. You allowed Rich to drive your car often, but on 2 occasions he had accidents with the car.
Yes.
And you want him not only to pay for the damage he did to the car, but the increase in insurance that your mother has to pay on the car for the next 12 months because of the accidents. In addition, you claim that your mother made a small loan to him for some expenses that had to do with the homecoming and the prom.
Yes.
Rich says that it's all your fault that he was in these accidents and that maybe he took $40 from your mother, but he spent so much more than that on homecoming and the prom that it's really ridiculous to even talk about the $40, right?
Yes.
Do you have a driver's license?
Yes.
Tell me the first time you had an accident with Miss Fairbanks' car.
The first time was when I was going to pick up tickets at my friend's house. Her name's Bethany. And it was during a snowstorm. Then I was turning too fast. Then I slid right into the curve. And that's when I wrecked the car the first time.
Did she give you the car to go to pick up the tickets? Or had you been using it for a while?
I have been using it.
So it was a pretty regular occurrence that you used the car?
Yeah.
I believe that, absolutely. Now, did you know he was using the car?
He only drove the car when she was in the vehicle with him.
That's not true. That's not true.
No, it was true. I would only allow him to drive if I was in the car, except for those 2 occasions.
What happened when you had this accident?
I drove back to my apartment place and parked there, then called Christina and told her.
What did he tell you, Christina?
He told me that if I took blame for the car, then he would have paid me for it.
So he said to you, why don't you take responsibility for the accident and tell your mother you were driving?
Yes.
Which is lie to your mother.
Yes.
And did you?
Yes, I did.
Now, when you lied to your mother about who was driving the car, I want you to tell me what you told her.
Well, I told...
No, look at me, like I'm your mother.
Mom, what happened was we had some movies due at Dylan's, and so I decided to go and take them back in the very bad ice storm, which I really shouldn't have been doing, but I didn't want to pay a late fee on them. And as I was coming back to the apartment, I slid on a patch of ice and hit one of the rails at the apartment with my wheel, and it bent the axle into the wheel well.
You remember her telling you that story?
Yes, I do.
Did you believe her?
No, I did not.
You didn't?
No, because she was scared to drive on the ice.
Just a second. So what did you say to her?
I asked her if she was telling me the truth.
Just a second. Okay. You said to her, Christina, are you telling me the truth?
Yes.
And what did she say?
She said yes.
And you said what?
That I really didn't believe her.
But she stuck with the story.
Yes.
Just like she's sticking with the story that the only 2 times she let him drive the car without her in the car was when he had accidents.
The car was always at my house.
I don't always. Not these 2 times it wasn't.
Just during the day.
Miss Fairbanks.
Possibly.
Miss Fairbanks, don't play with me.
I'm
I'm just
not,
telling you
ma'am.
that your daughter's a fibber and that you believed her. That's all. I'm not minimizing what he did. He had the accident. Now, whose idea was it to say that she was driving? Don't look over there.
Okay.
Look over here.
That was my idea.
Your idea.
Yeah.
Now, why did you want her to lie to your mother, Rich?
So the insurance won't go up for them.
Now, with that in mind, why don't you think you're responsible for paying for that accident?
Because they took the risk of me driving the car because they allowed me to drive the car. That's why.
Now you're becoming irritating. Who was driving the car in an ice storm?
I was.
Who made the bad judgment to go and do a non-essential errand during an ice storm?
I did.
Who misjudged the road?
I did.
So who do you think ought to pay for the damage?
I think I should. But...
Right! There you go. There you go. Now, how much did it cost to fix that accident?
$348.73.
Okay. Now, Christina, my darling, a week after he had this accident and asked you to come up with this cock and bull story to give your mother and lie to your mother, you let him drive the car again.
Yes, he was supposed to go and get gas.
You let him drive the car
Yes.
again, all by himself. Tell me about what happened this time, Rich.
There was cars turning in from both lanes, and it's a busy street in the morning because of school. And I thought I saw an opening, so I tried to take it. Then a Dodge Neon came and hit me.
So you misjudged oncoming traffic.
Yes.
Now, whose fault was that?
Mine again.
So let's go through the drill. Who was driving the car?
I was.
Who misjudged the oncoming traffic?
I did.
Who's responsible for the accident?
I was.
Who should pay for it?
Me.
At least he learns. Now, how much was it for that accident?
I have a deductible, and
How
here's
much?
my $500.
Okay, did you have it fixed?
Yes, I did.
So far, Rich,
Yes.
you owe Mrs. Fairbanks, not her fibbing daughter, but you owe Mrs. Fairbanks $848.73. Now, Christina, do you have a job?
I did.
Now, the next part of your lawsuit, you want him to pay for the increased insurance.
Yes.
He's not going to. You know who's going to pay for the increased insurance? You are. Because you let him drive the car. He's going to pay for the accidents. But your job is to reimburse your mother because it was your poor judgment letting him drive the car, especially the second time, because that was a bad accident, because he had already been in one accident. And as far as your mother knew, you were not letting him drive the car unless you were in it. That was a lie. And it was the wrong thing to do. There are consequences to your actions, and you're going to have to make up for that insurance if you want to drive a car. So go get a job, because he's not paying for that. But he is paying for $848 so far and 73 cents. Now, You want to give me this business about prom and what money you loaned to him?
He had my daughter come and ask me for money for prom because he was running low and he was going to be graduating in May.
So what did you say to your daughter?
I wrote her the check because I was assuming that he would pay me when he got his next paycheck.
So?
Because that's what they were telling me.
No, she. So far, I haven't heard anything from him. Go ahead.
And so they asked for that money. And I also paid for their boutonnieres and their corsages. He told us that we needed to go up and order them and that when they came in, he would pay me.
Is that what you said?
No, I did not.
Ms. Fairbanks, forget the prom. $848.73, Rich,
yes,
is what your responsibility is for wrecking this car. That's not their responsibility.
Yeah.
And Christina, sometimes when you do the wrong thing, other people suffer for it. You know who suffered for it? Your mother. You better make her whole. Get a job. It's all judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $848.73. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I would have appreciated him just telling me that he was sorry.
I said sorry to her daughter.
It was always whatever. It wasn't his fault.
It was an accident.
And he'd make up excuses for it and never would say, I'm sorry, nothing.
Normal accident.
He wanted to marry me and give me children and all that happy crap.
Not gonna happen.
When I found him cheating on me.
Found someone new.
He'd like to drift, where you pull the e-brake.
I didn't do it with that car.
Don't go for a guy for his looks.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
He has no looks.
Get over it.
I'll pay her back for everything.
And now the next case.
All parties in the matter of Christopher versus Dixon. Step forward, please.
Charnita Christopher is suing her former friend and child care provider, Vashni Dixon, for her share of money paid to Vashni by the state. Vashni is countersuing for unpaid child care fees.
Miss Christopher, Miss Dixon was a friend of yours.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
it is your claim that at some point she needed some assistance, you needed some assistance with child care, and the state was paying for your child care costs.
Yes, ma'am.
You engaged Miss Dixon to watch your children with the following arrangement, that she would share those child care responsibilities with your aunt, and then they would split the check. It is your claim that when Miss Dixon got the check, she kept the whole check for herself, and you want half the check so that you can give it to your aunt.
Yes, ma'am.
Miss Dixon says that there was no aunt, that she watched the children, but that you wanted her to split the county check. You would keep half, and she would keep half. And she felt that that was very unfair since she had the responsibility of watching the children. She has a counterclaim, and her counterclaim is nonsense. Her counterclaim wants you to pay the difference between what the county paid for child care and what she thinks she deserves for child care, the overage, because that's what it says in the contract from the state. Well, that's not the contract you had with her, Miss Dixon.
When she told me, we made the agreement.
Miss Dixon, that wasn't your agreement that she was going to pay you extra.
She was supposed to pay me $4 an hour. The state was supposed to pay that to me. They did not. She didn't tell me that they wouldn't pay all of that. It's her responsibility to pay.
It's not her responsibility.
How is it not her responsibility?
Because I say so. Because that wasn't your contract with her. Now, how many children do you have?
3.
How long have you been receiving child care money from the state for the 3 children?
Approximately a year.
Starting when?
It started again March 27th of 06.
And where were you working in March?
I wasn't working. It was for me to be able to look for employment at that time.
Well, did you find employment?
I found employment July 3rd. I was hired at Glamour Shots.
So you're telling me from March 27th until July 3rd, the state was paying you to look for a job?
Yes.
To watch your
ma'am.
children?
Yes, ma'am.
When did she start to babysit for you?
August 7th, 2006.
And where were you working at that time?
I wasn't working.
Well, what happened to the job that you started in July?
Oh, August, Glamour Shots. I'm sorry, Glamour Shots.
Are you still working there?
No, ma'am.
When did you stop working there? It's very easy to find out by calling them. When did you stop?
August 15th. I have my check stubs.
All right, so you worked there for a month.
Yes, ma'am.
And why did you leave there?
Because they weren't giving me enough hours.
Well, so you left that job because they weren't giving you enough hours and you went to a situation where you weren't working at all?
Yes, ma'am. There was a lot of other issues with that job.
So the county wasn't really getting a great bang for their buck by paying for your 3 children for daycare while you're looking for a job, and you had a job for a total of 1 month when you quit because they weren't giving you enough hours. Something doesn't sound right there, Miss Christopher. So she started working August 7th. And now, a week later, you're not working. So what are you doing when she's watching your children?
Out looking for work.
What does that mean?
I have to go to the workforce center, and they work with me to help me look for work.
Well, how many days a week do you go to the center?
It could be 4, sometimes 5.
Could it be 3?
It depends on what my job counselor...
When did you go to work?
Where did I go to work?
When? First is when?
I haven't. I'm looking for work right now. My children are not in child care right now at all.
So she started to work on August 7th. And when did you stop working?
I left her house on September 4th, I believe.
So you were there for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
How many hours a day did you watch the children, or did you live in her house?
She'd leave around maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, and she wouldn't get back till like 8 o'clock at night.
What about this aunt? Do you know anything about an aunt?
I never heard anything about her aunt watching her kids before this.
Where's the aunt?
She's at home.
She's not here?
No.
Well, how do you expect to prove to me that somebody else babysat for your children?
I have the proof.
Show me. What kind of proof are you showing me?
Oh, it's the hours that my aunt kept the children. She typed this up. She has a license.
I don't accept that, Miss Christopher. That's hearsay.
Okay. Well, that's what I have.
Well, your case is dismissed. My dear, she got a check for watching your children. You have no proof that somebody else watched your children. Ridiculous. Your case is dismissed, that's all. So is your counterclaim. Goodbye.
Always are excused. You may step out.
Vashni knows that she did not keep my children for those days, and she knows that.
She's a liar, and I don't appreciate liars.
We were friends.
She was like, well, I'll just quit my job and take half your check. I never agreed to it. That's just what she said.
I helped her.
How she was helping me, I don't know.
I don't believe in friends. I have family, and that's it.
I don't think Charnita knows what the definition of a friendship is.
I'm done helping people. I know it's fraud.
26-year-old Nicole Hunsinger is suing her former live-in boyfriend, 25-year-old Brian Moss, for rent, an unpaid loan, and a cell phone.
All rise. Now, this is case number 160 on the calendar in the matter of Hunsinger versus Moss. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated, sir. Have a seat.
Miss Hunsinger, this used to be your boyfriend. You lived together for a period of time. Your complaint is threefold. First, you say that you made a loan to him a little over a year ago.
Mm-hmm.
He needed some money for a lawyer and for some fines. And while he paid you back some, he still owes you money.
Yes, ma'am.
Second, that you ultimately broke up with each other. You moved out of the apartment that you were sharing and both contributing to, with the understanding that Mr. Moss was going to pay the rent. He ended up not paying the rent, and in order to preserve your credit, you paid the rent because you were also on the lease.
Yes, ma'am.
And then some nonsense about a cell phone. I hate these cell phone cases. You know, I think that they ought to abolish the ability of people to get cell phones for other people. If you can afford a cell phone, you get a cell phone. If you can't afford a cell phone, you don't get a cell phone. Aren't there still things on the street where you can put in a quarter and make a phone call?
I'm not sure. It's been so long.
I think that there probably are, or else you wait until you get home, or write a letter, or use a stamp, or something.
I agree.
But if you can't afford a cell phone out there in television land, don't get one. And don't get anybody else one.
I want a copy of this for my kids.
Would you do that?
Yes.
Yeah, I'll get you one.
Thank you.
Anyway, when did you move into this apartment together?
February 13th of 05.
And what was the rent?
$425 a month, everything included.
And your arrangement was that you split the rent?
No, ma'am. We decided to, because I had more bills going out monthly, that he would pay majority of the rent and I would help him pick up whatever was left of the monthly rent.
So how did you deal with that each month?
Every week he would get money from his paycheck. He would put it in an envelope in the apartment. When rent was due, whatever money wasn't there to pay the rent in full, I would put in.
Is that right?
Yes, ma'am.
So how much did you put in?
I was anywhere from $50 to $100 a month I was putting into my own money that he was short.
And what were you paying for?
Car loan, insurance, student loans, credit card bills, the cell phones.
Okay. And when did you move out?
I moved out shortly after we broke up on July 1st. I called the landlord, said I was leaving, and told her why.
Why were you leaving?
I found out some stuff that he was doing behind my back, and that did not make me happy. And then we got in an argument. It got heated. I didn't like the situation, so I left.
Did you make any arrangement with him about staying in the apartment, or did you just leave?
I left, and I called the landlord, told her where I was and why I left. She said that if he would agree to go on the lease...
That's hearsay. Now, she left in July.
Yes, ma'am.
When did you leave?
I left in August, I believe.
Think carefully.
I think it was September, October.
Think carefully before you give me an answer.
October,
August, September, or October?
October, ma'am.
Mr. Moss, I want you to try not to irritate me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a very low threshold.
Yes, ma'am.
So you left in October?
Yes.
October what?
Beginning of October, ma'am. I'm not sure what day.
I believe it was the 7th.
7th.
Well, the 7th is into October, so you owed rent for. You left in July, so I assume you paid July's rent.
No, ma'am, I didn't.
Why not?
Because he obviously had paid it because they didn't notify me that he didn't.
Did you pay August's rent?
Yes, ma'am.
September?
Yeah, I believe.
Not
yes,
all of it, ma'am.
Not all of it.
I think you should have stayed with her because she can finish your sentences because you're having these mind lapses.
Yes, ma'am.
How much of October's rent did you pay?
I believe about a little over $200, ma'am.
October?
October, nothing in the beginning.
$425 in October. And how much of September's rent did you pay?
Little over $300, ma'am.
How much?
I ended up having to put in, with his late fees and the remainder of the rent he didn't pay, it was $157.50.
Plus the $425 for October?
Yes, ma'am.
And what about November, December, and January? What did the landlord do with November, December, and January? Do you have an agreement with him?
I have their paperwork right here.
Can I see it, please?
And the second page is in bill form of what I paid.
All right, Mr. Moss. Now let's have your defense with regard to this rent, which she paid to the landlord in the amount of $1,275, which covers October, November, and December's rent. Come on. Come.
Well, she ended up moving out in July, leaving me with the rest of the lease, and from what I told the landlord, I figured that since she
Why
left
did she move out, sir?
We broke up, so she moved
Why?
out. Because she wanted to live somewhere else, I guess.
You think so?
Yes, ma'am.
No, you don't think that there was any cause for her to leave?
No, we just broke up, and that was it, and she decided to leave.
Well, so it was an amicable breakup, according to you?
It was just pretty much she broke up with me, that was it.
Listen, do you know what the word amicable means?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir. Was it an amicable breakup? Amicable breakup usually means that two people sit down and say, listen, we have this lease, let's see how we can resolve this. You know, I can stay in the apartment and you leave, or you stay in the apartment and I'll leave, and this is the way we're going to resolve the bills, and this is the way we're going to resolve the loan.
What was amicable at first, ma'am?
It was at first. We agreed on some things, and it was.
What did you agree on? Mr. Moss?
Basically, what I agreed on was that I can, for as long as I could, I can, maintain the rent.
No, Mr. Moss, that's not what you said. What do you mean, as long as you could, you would maintain the rent?
I didn't say I was going to do it until the end of the lease, Your Honor.
Where are you living now, sir?
I'm living in another apartment now, in the same town.
With whom?
Myself.
What's the rent?
$320 a month.
So that's a difference of $100 a month in the rent.
Yes, ma'am.
So if you had paid this landlord $320 a month rent, she would have been relieved of the burden of paying the landlord $1,275, right? The
Yes,
landlord
ma'am.
would have come after her for only a few $100s, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So why didn't you do that? It must have cost you something to move.
It cost me quite a bit to move, but
So why did you move?
I couldn't afford to stay there at that time. I had to borrow from friends just to move to another place. But I couldn't borrow enough to actually maintain there, and then I didn't want to just stay there anymore. It was just...
That sounds like a lot of double talk to me, Mr. Moss.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
What did you need a lawyer for, Mr. Moss?
Identity theft.
Whose identity did you steal?
Father's.
Father pressed charges?
Yes, ma'am.
He must have been really angry with you for something else.
He told me his father was dead.
And later today...
You have another phone now, sir?
Yes, I do.
Good. When did you get it? Look at me. When did you get it?
When did I get it? I don't know.
When did you get it? That's a question. I ask the questions, you give me the answer. When did you get the phone?
Real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Nicole Hunsinger claims ex-boyfriend Brian Moss owes for rent, a cell phone bill, and attorney fees after he was arrested for identity theft.
Okay. Now let's get to the loan. When did you make this loan and for what?
It was for attorney.
What did you need a lawyer for, Mr. Moss?
I had another court case, Your Honor.
What kind of court case, sir?
Criminal court.
For what?
Identity theft.
And?
Whose identity did you steal?
Father's.
Your father's?
Yes, ma'am.
How much money did you rack up before they found out?
$1,087, ma'am.
Father pressed charges?
Yes, ma'am.
He must have been really angry with you for something else.
I haven't talked to him about 7 years, ma'am.
Apparently, he told me his father was dead.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Did you receive probation in that case?
No, it was, if I didn't get in trouble for 6 months, it was a sponge.
It was what?
A sponge. It was just gotten rid of.
You had an adjournment and contemplation of dismissal for 6 months?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have to pay restitution?
Yes.
And what was the restitution?
$1,087, I believe.
And fines?
No fines.
And how much was the lawyer?
Lawyer was $1,500, and that was it.
And who gave you the money?
Miss Hunsinger.
But the retainer wasn't all the way borrowed.
Shh.
Sorry.
How much did you pay her back?
I paid for the first few of the monthly payments of the lawyer's fee.
How
Actually,
much?
the loan fee. I'm not 100% sure, man. It was like 4 months.
How many months did he pay you back?
He paid for the first 5 months of my loan payments.
And how much were the loan payments?
They were $113.35 a month.
Why did you stop?
Because she had left. I had lost contact with her. She asked for the phone back, and that was it. And I hadn't seen her since then. I only seen her once or twice. Yes, ma'am.
So at this point, Mr. Moss, we are acknowledging the loan
Yes, ma'am.
in the amount now, according to you, of $2,142.
Yes, ma'am.
See what he said about this in his answer. I didn't hear anything. She never said I had to pay her back.
She didn't. I did that on my own record.
He gave me his word.
Okay. So far, Mr. Moss, I find the following, sir. That you had, according to you, an amicable initial breakup.
Yes.
The discussion was, and this is what I find, not what you say,
Yes, ma'am.
that you agreed to stay in the apartment and she was leaving.
Yes.
And if you agreed to stay in the apartment and she was leaving, that means that you agreed to cover the rent. And you didn't. And I have verification from the landlord that you didn't pay the rent, and that she did, and that, as a matter of fact, you moved into another apartment at practically the same rent. So you really could have stayed there and maybe been shy a couple of $100, not the $1,275 that she had to kick in. So I believe that you had an agreement with her to stay there for the duration of the lease. Did you move someplace else?
Yes, ma'am.
Where did you move?
I moved across town with a friend.
You pay rent?
Yes, ma'am.
How much?
$465 split half, so it's for $232.50 a month I pay.
Maybe if you had a friend, Mr. Moss, you could have gotten yourself that kind of situation. In any event, I also find that you owe her for the remainder of this loan that you stopped paying. That's $21.42. Those two figures together are $34.17. Now, I want you to do this cell phone really fast.
I can...
Miss Hunsinger.
Real briefly, yes.
Really fast, because you know how irritated I am with cell phones already?
Yep.
Go ahead.
He's just said that we lost contact and this is why he wasn't giving me money. Well, the last loan payment I paid was August, which was a month after we had broke up. I did receive money for the August payment, so he had the cell phone in order to keep in contact, to make arrangements to get money to pay the bills. And, well, my cell phone bill here of 5,977 minutes. 5,977 in one billing cycle. Everything in this that's highlighted orange is a number, a dating service he was calling, and porn numbers on my dime.
What months was he doing that?
From April of 05 to October of 05.
While you were
even
living,
when
while you were living together?
Yes, ma'am. He was calling a dating service when we were together.
Why weren't you getting the bills? It was your phone.
After the first 2 billing cycles of our cell phone bill, they stopped sending a detailed bill. Well, after I allowed him to keep the phone, to keep in contact with me, I got detailed 60-page bill for one bill.
Should have gotten it before, Miss Hunsinger.
Yes, ma'am. I know.
Should have gotten it before. Because you're going to deal with that cell phone bill. It's going to make you smarter for the future. Going to make you smarter and stronger.
Mm-hmm. It will. He will. He's going to never again.
Good girl. Who is this?
That's my stepfather.
Looks like a nice man. All right, Mr. Moss, there are no free rides in this world, sir. You owe her $3,417. You're a very lucky girl.
Thank you, ma'am.
Right?
Thank you.
The first mistake that you made was, as soon as you found out that he had stolen his father's identity, you should have packed your suitcase and fled.
I'm aware of that, but he
And
had told me
fled.
he was dead.
He told you his...
He had told me his father was dead until
And it
he
was
got
okay to
charged.
steal his identity because he was dead?
He came back from the dead and...
Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
You know,
I do.
you have to hire a lawyer, and in order to get an adjournment and contemplation of dismissal, unless the DA is not playing with a full deck, which is an ACD, which is what he got, he has to plead guilty. He has to say, I did something wrong, which he sort of acknowledges. that he stole his father's identity. And you had to know that in your soul, right? How old are you?
I'm 26.
26. And you?
25, ma'am.
Is this your first arrest, sir?
No.
Got it? Kiss the ground. Look up to God and say, thank you, God. Before I got further involved with him, before I made a baby with him, before he took everything that I have for now and the future, move on.
Yes, ma'am.
Kiss
Parties are excused. You may step out.
I just think it's wrong, but I mean, there's nothing else I can do about it, so.
A slime. That's all I can say. He's a liar.
It was just funny because everything was a gift until we broke up.
Nope. Not a gift. He knew they were loans, and he agreed to pay him back.
Basically, she was trying to hold everything that we ever had together over my head, and I just couldn't take it anymore.
He's a liar. He's a criminal. He's a liar.
Pretty much, we just didn't see eye to eye on so many things.
I won't trust again. It's going to take a long time.
21-year-old Erica Chandler is suing her ex-boyfriend, 22-year-old Andrew Erickson, for money owed from a botched eBay sale and for damaging her car while trying to park.
All rise.
It's case number 99 on the calendar, the matter of Chandler versus Erickson. Parties have been sworn in. You may be seated. Sir, have a seat, please.
Miss Chandler, Mr. Erickson used to be your boyfriend. Did you ever live together?
No, we talked about it, but never acted on it.
Your complaint is threefold. You sort of got the whole kitchen sink here.
Yeah.
Wanted to get everything off your chest now that the romance is over. I understand that. Not necessarily sympathetic yet, but I understand it. About a year ago, Mr. Erickson asked you to sell something for a family friend on your eBay account. And what he asked you to sell was supposedly a rare coin. You sold it, and the person who purchased it complained that it was a fake. They had already received the coin. There was a charge back to your account. So you were out $800 and some odd dollars. Is that right?
That's correct.
That was a year ago, June.
Right.
Subsequently, you opened up a joint bank account with him. But neither he nor this family member ever paid you back this $800.
Right.
Why not?
He had promised to pay me the money. When he had the money, he barely had a job.
Barely had a job, and you opened up a joint bank account with him? Why?
It was to make money, Your Honor. It was to sell items on eBay for my aunt. I agreed to go into it with him.
Why?
In order to pay back some of the money from the coin with the items that we sold on eBay.
He had no job. It was your aunt's property, your money. Why would you open a joint account with him?
Because he would have been able to help me like package the stuff and get the stuff ready to go, and which would have been worth money. So I agreed to open the bank account for him with him so that I wouldn't get caught in case something like that happened again.
Miss Chandler, I don't think so. I think you opened up a joint bank account with him because you were smitten with him.
It was strictly for eBay, Your Honor. We didn't have any other money go into there other than stuff for eBay.
Well, that's interesting because the second cause of action that you have is for some sort of overdrawn check that he put in the account.
Right. That was for my aunt's check bounced, the one that I wrote to her for the items that she'd given us to put on eBay, you know, because we were only taking a percentage to sell it for her. And so my aunt's check bounced. And
what does that have to do with him?
Because he was on the account with me. And the reason that it bounced was because of him. He is the only person that took money out of that account.
So what you're saying to me is, Miss Chandler, that this checking account that you had was to be used for eBay, but he used it for other things.
Right, which I wasn't aware of because
That's what happens, Miss Chandler, when you open up a joint checking account with somebody. That's why I'm saying to you.
I want you to understand that I'm not suing for any of the money that was in the checking account.
So what are you suing for?
The only thing that I'm suing for is that it is negative now, close to $500, which I am partially liable for, and
Absolutely.
I didn't make any of the charges. I have all the documentation right here.
Listen to me. Then you are asking the court to find him responsible for that $500 negative balance.
Right, which he caused.
Well, I'm saying to you, you're asking me to go back, look at this joint bank account, which either of you can take money out of and either of you can put money into and say who put money in and who took money out. And I'm not prepared to do that.
They're all charges from him.
So?
I just don't feel that I should be responsible for a negative balance that he solely caused. And he told me that this was after the fact because he told me that he took my name off the account. The negative balance only happened after we broke up.
Different story. When did he tell you he took your name off the account?
Let's see, the 9th month, September.
Mr. Erickson,
Never said that, Your Honor.
Were you no longer together in September?
That's correct.
Well, then why would you have a joint bank account with her?
We never closed the account together, Your Honor. That's
Well,
all.
then, Mr. Erickson,
Yes.
if you were no longer together after September of 2005, and the withdrawals that were made were yours,
The majority of
after
them-
September of 2005,
After September, I've never used it, Your Honor.
show me, after September.
From here on, Your Honor, all the highlighting in pink is all from his card. You can just flip through the pages there. And I had no idea.
Is my name on that, Your Honor?
No, but the card number is.
Right, but I'm saying it could be her number.
If you flip to the beginning, Your Honor, there was one charge that I made while we were still together, which will be highlighted in yellow, which will show my card number. It should be for the amount of
$825.
$100.
You have two totally different card numbers.
That's correct, Your Honor.
Okay, so you took all this money out for whatever. You went to McDonald's, you bought something for $2, you put it on this thing. You had an ATM withdrawal, cash withdrawal, $20. Cash withdrawal, $927. On your card, sir, $461. So you used this card after the two of you broke up?
Yes.
Okay, so why should she be responsible for that?
She used it too, Your Honor. And most of the money we made on eBay.
No, she didn't use it at all after September.
Okay, Your Honor. But what I'm saying is, the stuff we sold on eBay, $70 of that was the stuff that she brought in. Everything else, I brought in. I sold on eBay, I shipped it, everything. That's what I'm saying.
What I'm saying to you is if you broke up in September, I believe her when she said you're going to take her name off the account so that she's not responsible for it anymore. That sounds logical. And your negative balance now is $500. Let's talk about this coin collection. Did you ask her to sell this coin collection
Yes,
for
I
you?
did, and it was on her account.
Yes, I know that it was on her account.
Yes.
And it turned out to be a fake. Your defense to that is she should have been smart enough to have it authenticated.
That's right, Your Honor. She should have taken it to a coin shop before we sold it and got verification.
Why didn't you do that?
It wasn't on my account, Your Honor. I wanted her to sell it on eBay. She should have had the, decency to do it herself.
Who was this friend that you got the coin from?
Friend of my mom's.
Name!
Marianne.
Shh, just a second. So I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do, sir. Is she still alive?
Yes, she is.
Good. You pay for it, and then you sue her and say, I've been forced to make this payment, and you have to pay me.
Okay.
Instead of standing there and just looking pretty. You got to have something up here. Beauty fades, dumb as forever, Mr. Erickson.
Yes, Your Honor.
Works as well for boys as it does for girls.
Judge Judy continues in a moment.
I don't think that you seriously anticipated that he was going to pay you to have this car fixed. And if you did, then you were operating in fantasy land.
And later today,
I can tell the difference between a made-up story and a story that has the ring of truth to it. What she just told me has the ring of truth to it. Do you understand?
real cases, real people. Judge Judy. Erica Chandler claims ex-boyfriend Andrew Erickson owes for a botched eBay sale and for damage to her car.
Now, the last part of your lawsuit, Ms. Chandler, says that he damaged your car while you were together. You want to tell me about that?
Yes.
When was it?
That would have been March 4th of 2005. He told me, Your Honor, that...
He damaged your car in March of 2005, and if he didn't pay you for it, I wouldn't have sold the coin for him in June. I wouldn't have opened up a joint bank account for him in July. I would have shown him his walking papers.
I understand, Your Honor, but he said he was going to take it to a friend of his to
He
have
didn't do it, and he didn't do it March, April, May, June. If he didn't do it in 4 months, then you don't do him another favor and sell a coin for him. And if he didn't do it March, April, May, June, July, you don't open up a joint bank account with him unless you're smitten. And if you're smitten, that means you... so he damaged the car a little bit. Mr. Erickson, your defense is that she should have had insurance, and if she didn't have insurance, she asked me to drive her someplace, and she should have used her insurance, so it's not my problem. That's what you say. You know, you really should consider yourself very lucky. I don't know whether he means this answer to be a reflection of his character. If he does, you're very lucky that he's not in your life anymore. If he doesn't mean it, he shouldn't have said it to be flip. But meanwhile, I don't think that you seriously anticipated that he was going to pay you to have this car fixed. And if you did, then you were operating in fantasy land.
The reason, Your Honor, that I didn't turn it into my insurance and I didn't take care of it right away is because I had a $1,000 deductible on my car, and I knew that it wasn't going to be $1,000 to fix that. And I didn't have the money to fix it.
So, is it fixed now?
No, it is not.
And you're still driving the car?
Yes.
15 months later?
Yes, I'm waiting for him to pay me.
He's not. He's not going to pay you. So, you know how you've looked at the scratch on the car for the last 15 months? You're going to continue to look at the scratch. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,381. Mr. Erickson?
That's right.
One of these days, someone is going to take advantage of you. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be there to sort of give you a wink. You have to do the right thing in this world, otherwise things come back and bite you in the behind. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Not always. May not happen tomorrow. May not happen the next day, but I'm telling you this, Mr. Erickson, it has been my life experience that when you don't do the right thing and treat people fairly, eventually it comes back to get you. Do you understand?
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
He just uses people.
I think she's just a sad individual.
He's sleeping with men right now for money.
Oh, God. No, that's not true.
And he's not even gay.
She was sleeping with me when she was with her boyfriend.
Last time Mr. Erickson and I met, he tried to beat me and burn me with a cigarette.
He called me talking crap, and I went over there.
And he was drunk, and he was flailing like a stroke victim.
Be careful who you trust.
He's not exactly the type you take home to mom.
Stay away from, well, I wouldn't say women in general, but try to pick them better.
Suing her former roommate, Lulu Onawaka, for a rental deposit, moving costs, and lost wages.
Miss McRae, you were looking for a room, and you rented a room in defendant's apartment. It didn't work out. You were unhappy. She was unhappy. You moved out. And now you want return of rent, deposit, moving costs, lost wages, and emotional distress. She also said, didn't work out. We didn't like each other. It just wasn't a good fit. So you were happy she left. That's either a yes or a no. You were happy she left.
No, ma'am.
You weren't happy you wanted her to stay.
No, ma'am.
Then you were happy she left.
No, ma'am. I wasn't happy she left.
Oh, let me see. Let's see. Okay, this is what you say. Brittany, that would be you.
Yes.
This is your answer. Was messy, played loud music, brought friends in. After that, I let her know we weren't a good fit and would not be renewing her lease.
No.
Now, that's what you said.
We'll not be renewing the lease for the
No,
apartment.
no, no. Doesn't matter. I just read you something. I read you your answer. Now, does that sound somebody that was happy with their roommate?
I define happiness for myself. I've lived in co-living where I've had to live with people I do not like.
What?
And make it work is what I'm trying to say. So
No.
that wasn't the issue.
The damage she's referring to was actually me attempting to change the locks on the door.
Lock
I was
on the
trying
door.
to change the lock because during my time away, all of my belongings.
Brittany McRae claims her former roommate, Lulu Onawaka, owes for a rental deposit, moving costs, and lost wages. Lulu is countersuing for property damage and storage fees.
Brittany was messy, played loud music, brought friends in unannounced. She damaged the washing machine, flooded the apartment, and without my consent offered to adopt someone's dog. After that, I let her know we weren't a good fit and wouldn't be renewing the lease. That's what you wrote. Do you want me to show that to you?
No, you are right, and that is what I wrote.
Absolutely. Well, then I don't know why you have a passive-aggressive attitude, because I'm the only one who's passive-aggressive. Then you were happy she left.
No.
Okay, well, you're ridiculous. Then weren't a good fit, and yet you were happy with that. And I don't have to define happiness.
Yes.
I know that if I lived with somebody who was messy, sometimes loud,
Okay. To each his
we
own.
broke the dishwasher and flooded the apartment because they put regular soap instead of dishwashing soap into the apartment, then it sort of bubbles all over. Now, unless I was either married to that person or they were one of my family, I wouldn't be happy with them. If I had a tenant like that, I would say, oh my God, what did I get myself into? I want out of this.
Okay.
But you were happy.
No, I wasn't. I stand in that.
Okay, then you weren't happy.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's what I asked you. You could have saved me all this dramatic.
I paid $1,300 and a $300 deposit.
And you lived there for about a month.
I lived there for 26 days.
And things didn't work out. You had a big argument with her back and forth. And as a matter of fact, according to you, you left for a couple of days.
I did.
Yes, because you were unhappy there and felt threatened, felt uncomfortable, whatever
Very
it
much
was.
so.
So you left for a couple of days. And when you came back, what was your intention when you came back? No, look, not so. Look at me. You left because you were unhappy. You came back. What was your intention when you came back?
I never left because I was unhappy. I left because I was evicted from the property by the defense.
कैसे हैं आप सब? उम्मीद है खैरियत से होंगे। आज मैं आपको दिखाने जा रहा हूं कि विलेज जो लाइफ होती है किस तरह की होती है। मेरी बैक साइड पे आप देख सकते हैं कितना खूबसूरत व्यू दिखाई दे रहा है, क्योंकि इस वक्त शाम का टाइम है और धूप भी हल्की हल्की नज़र आ रही है। तो शाम के टाइम बड़ा खूबसूरत मंजर पेश करता है हमारा विलेज। बैक साइड पे आपको दिखाई दे रहे होंगे खूबसूरत दरख्त। तो मैं यहाँ पे आपको दिखाने जा रहा हूँ खूबसूरती किस तरह की होती है। तो इस तरह से ये देखें, बैक साइड पे हमारे पीछे ये देखें, क्योंकि मौसम बहार आ चुका है। मौसम बहार में ऐसी खूबसूरती अक्सर रहती है। ये देखें कितने प्यारे दरख्त और साथ ही साथ उनकी खूबसूरत बाहर का मौसम एंजॉय करते हुए। तो अक्सर औकात ये होता है कि हम अपनी जो लाइफ, जो विलेज की लाइफ होती है, शहर के लोग बड़े प्यार नाल और खूबसूरती नाल उनको देखने की कोशिश करते हैं। तो विलेज में अक्सर ये होता है कि यहाँ की जो ज़िंदगी होती है बड़ा पुरअमन और बड़े शांति देखें महसूस हो रही है, क्योंकि शहरों में गाड़ियों की, कारखानों की मुख्तलिफ जो फैक्ट्रीज़ होती हैं उनमें अक्सर औकात वहाँ पे बहुत शोर होता है। लेकिन देहात में देखें बिल्कुल ही प्यारा प्यारा मौसम साथ इंजॉय करते हुए, क्योंकि गर्मी की शिद्दत इतनी ज़्यादा है। अगर शहर की निस्बत बात की जाए देहात की, तो इस वक्त देखें बड़ा ही खूबसूरत मौसम है। वो देखें सामने जो पहाड़ों पे हल्की हल्की धुंध छाई हुई है और बड़ा खूबसूरत मंजर पेश कर रहा है। तो विलेज की जो लाइफ होती है उसमें हम अक्सर औकात अगर शहर की निस्बत विलेज का, यहाँ शहर का और विलेज का तयन करें, तो शहर की जो ज़िंदगी होती है बड़ी ही मुश्किल होती है, कठिन होती है। ये देखें मेरे साइड पे कितने खूबसूरत फूल जो कि अपनी आबोताब दिखाते हुए। तो इस तरह हम शहर की जो ज़िंदगी होती है उसकी निस्बत जो देहात की ज़िंदगी होती है, देखें मेरे अब में कितना ही खूबसूरत व्यू पेश कर रहा है। तो इस खूबसूरती को हम किस तरह समेटेंगे? तो चलते हैं जी बैक साइड पे, मैं आपको पूरी तरह व्यू करवाता हूँ कि किस तरह का खूबसूरत मंजर पेश करता है। ये देखें जी क्या ही खूबसूरत नज़ारा। तो जी ये देखें हमारा विलेज क्या ही खूबसूरत मंजर पेश कर रहा है, बड़ा ही खूबसूरत नज़ारा। वो देखें सामने जो दूर आपको पहाड़ दिखाई दे रहे हैं, बड़ा ही खूबसूरत इंजॉयमेंट दिखाते हुए। ये देखें हमारे देहात में, क्योंकि यहाँ पर उस तरह की रोड की फैसिलिटी नहीं होती शहर की निस्बत, लेकिन यहाँ की जो ज़िंदगी होती है बड़ी ही प्यारी और एक हिसाब से अगर देखा जाए बड़ी कठिन होती है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे पैदल मसाफत करनी पड़ती है दूर दराज शहर। ये देखें यहाँ से देहात से हमारा जो सिटी जो काफ़ी दूर दिखाई दे रहा है। तो इससे ये अंदाज़ा आप लगा सकते हैं कि कितना ही खूबसूरत मंजर होता है। इसीलिए लोग कहते हैं कि जो शहर के लोग होते हैं उन क्योंकि सेहत की जो पोजीशन होती है उनकी बहुत ही नाक़स होती है, क्योंकि वहाँ का मटेरियल साथ ही साथ वहाँ की आबो हवा होती है, उसकी वजह से शहर में बड़ा मुश्किल होता है। ये देखें जी सामने ये रोड जहाँ पे गाड़ी जा रही है, और ये शहर में क्योंकि कच्चे ट्रैक, देहातों में कच्चे ट्रैक बहुत ज़्यादा होते हैं, जो पक्की रोडें होती हैं वो बहुत ही कम दिखाई देती हैं। देखें बड़ा खूबसूरत मंजर, आसमां पे हल्की हल्की धुंध और बड़ा ही प्यारा नज़ारा पेश कर रही है। इसीलिए कहते हैं कि जो देहात में शहर की निस्बत, ये देखें यहाँ पे कितने खूबसूरत फूल लगे हुए हैं, क्या ही नज़ारा पेश कर रही है। اسی لیے لوگ کہتے ہیں کہ جو دیہات کی جو آب و ہوا، وہاں کی جو تازہ تازہ ہوا، ساتھ ہی ساتھ تازہ پانی، اس سے صحت میں بہت ہی بہتری آتی ہے۔ اور یہ دیکھیں جی، بڑا ہی خوبصورت منظر پیش کر رہا ہے، باہر کا موسم کیا ہی خوبصورت دلکش نظارہ پیش کر رہا ہے۔ اسی لیے لوگ شہروں سے اکثر موسم گرما میں دیہاتوں کا رخ، خاص طور پہ کشمیر کا رخ کرتے ہیں۔ یہ دیکھیں کشمیر کا کیا ہی خوبصورت نظارہ، بڑے گھنے جنگل، اور ان جنگلوں میں ہم جیسے منگل موجود، تو کیا ہی خوبصورت اور دلکش نظارہ پیش کرتا ہوا۔ اس کے علاوہ اگر بات کی جائے، یہاں پہ جو درخت ہوتے ہیں وہ بڑا ہی خوبصورت منظر پیش کرتے ہیں۔ اگر آپ لوگوں کو ہمارا ولاگ، جو ولیج ولاگ ہے، اچھا لگا تو کامنٹ سیکشن میں ضرور رائے دینا کہ ہم بھی اسی طرح کے ولاگ، ولیج لائف کی جو زندگی ہوتی ہے ولیج کی، اس کے بارے میں پوری تفصیل کے ساتھ آپ کو بتائیں کہ کس طرح دیہاتوں میں لوگ زندگی بسر کرتے ہیں۔ تو یہ ساتھ ساتھ نظارہ دیکھتے جائیں۔ یہ جی اخروٹ کا درخت ہے، بڑا ہی یہ دیکھیں خوبصورت منظر پیش کر رہا ہے۔ اخروٹ یہاں پہ کثیر تعداد میں، اور ساتھ ہی ساتھ یہ دیکھیں جی جنگلی انار، اس کو ہم جنگلی انار کہتے ہیں، اور یہ اس کی جو مٹھاس ہوتی ہے بڑی ہی پیاری، اور خاص طور پر یہ جنگلی جو انار ہوتا ہے، یہ جن لوگوں کے بی پی ہائی ہوتے ہیں ان کے لیے بھی بڑا کارآمد ہوتا ہے، ساتھ ہی ساتھ معدے کے لیے بہت ہی مفید قسم کا یہ جنگلی انار کردار ادا کرتا ہے۔ جو لوگ بھی جن کا معدے کی جو پرابلم ہوتی ہے، اس کے لیے بہت ہی یہ صحت مند اور بڑی مفید یہ دوائیوں میں شمار ہوتا ہے انار کا۔ آپ نے ہمارا جو ولیج، جو پہلا فرسٹ ولاگ ہے ہماری طرف سے، اس کو کس طرح سے آپ کو دیکھنے میں کس طرح سے یہ لگا؟ اگر اچھا لگا ہے تو کامنٹ سیکشن میں ضرور رائے دیں، تاکہ ہم بھی اپنے ولیج کی جو زندگی ہے وہ آپ لوگوں کے ساتھ شیئر کریں۔ اگر آپ کو پسند ہے ولیج لائف تو ضرور کامنٹ سیکشن میں اپنی رائے دینا۔ تو اس وقت کیونکہ بڑا خوبصورت موسم، اپنی آب و تاب، یہ دیکھیں میری بیک سائڈ پہ آسمان پہ ہلکی ہلکی دھند جو پہاڑوں پہ نظر آ رہی ہے، اس سے یہ ہوتا ہے کہ جو ہماری گرمی کی جو شدت ہوتی ہے، خاص طور پر ولیج میں جو گرمی کی شدت ہوتی ہے شہر کی نسبت بہت کم ہوتی ہے، کیونکہ شہر میں وہاں جو کارخانے، مختلف گاڑیاں، ٹریفک کے شور، ساتھ ہی ساتھ ٹریفک جو وہاں پہ، جس کی وجہ سے بہت زیادہ گرمی کی شدت، اور شہر میں یہ ہوتا ہے کیونکہ وہاں پہ جو مکانات ہوتے ہیں وہ بہت ہی کلوز ہوتے ہیں لوگوں کے، اس وجہ سے بھی بہت زیادہ جو گرمی کی شدت ہوتی ہے تیز ہوتی ہے۔ اور دیہاتوں میں یہ دیکھیں میری بیک سائڈ پہ بڑے دور دور مکان بنے ہوئے ہیں لوگوں کے، اس وجہ سے، اور خاص طور پر یہ جو جنگل آپ کو نظر آ رہے ہیں، یہ جو درخت نظر آ رہے ہیں، اس کی وجہ سے بڑی تر و تازہ ہوا ملتی ہے۔ اس وقت دیکھیں ہلکی ہلکی ٹھنڈی ٹھنڈی ہوا اور بڑی پیاری پیاری ہوا لگی ہوئی ہے۔ اس سے یہ ہے کہ ہمارا جو موسم، اسی وجہ سے جو دیہات کا موسم ہوتا ہے بڑا خوبصورت موسم ہوتا ہے۔ تو آپ بھی کامنٹ سیکشن میں ضرور رائے دیں کہ آپ کو شہر کی زندگی اچھی لگتی ہے یا ولیج لائف، تو کامنٹ سیکشن میں ضرور رائے دیں، اور میں کوشش کروں گا اگر آپ لوگوں نے کو ہماری یہ ویڈیو اچھی لگ رہی ہے یا لگے گی تو ضرور میں اس کے بعد ولاگ، جو نیکسٹ ولاگ ہوں گے، اس میں ولیج کی جو لائف ہے، کس طرح سے لوگ زندگی بسر کرتے ہیں، یہاں پہ کس طرح سے مشکلات ہوتی ہیں، اور جو فیسلٹی نہ ہونے کی وجہ سے لوگ کن کن دشواریوں کا شکار ہوتے ہیں، یہ میں آپ کو پوری اپنا جو ولاگ ہیں نیکسٹ میں کوشش کروں گا۔ اگر کامنٹ سیکشن میں آپ نے میری سپورٹ کی تو انشاءاللہ ضرور میں اپنے ولیج کی جو زندگی ہم لوگ کس طرح سے بسر کرتے ہیں وہ میں آپ کو پوری تفصیل کے ساتھ بتاؤں گا. ساتھ ساتھ میں یہاں پہ آپ کو جو دیہات کے کس طرح سے ہم زندگی بسر کرتے ہیں, کن کن دشواریوں کا شکار ہوتے ہیں, میں آپ کو ساتھ ساتھ بتاؤں گا کہ کس طرح سے ہم اپنی زندگی بسر کرتے ہیں. یہ دیکھیں جی, پیدل سفر کرنا پڑتا ہے, ان درخت سے بچنا بھی پڑتا ہے, بڑا مشکل سفر ہوتا ہے یہاں پہ پیدل. لیکن دیہات کے لوگ اسی لیے صحت مند, خاص طور پہ جو دیہات کے ہاسپٹل ہوتے ہیں وہ ویران ہوتے ہیں. وہ کہتے ہیں کہ میدان آباد ہوں, ہاسپٹل ویران ہوتے ہیں. لیکن اگر بات کی جائے کہ اگر دیہات میں ہیں تو دیہات کے جو ہاسپٹل ہیں وہ ویران ہوں گے. یہ دیکھیں میرے پیچھے بڑے خوبصورت منظر پیش کر رہا ہے دیہات کا شہر. دیہات کا شہر اس لیے ہم اس کو دیہات کا شہر کہتے ہیں کیونکہ ہماری جو زندگی ہے وہ بڑی ہی خوبصورت اور کٹھن ہوتی ہے. کامنٹ سیکشن میں آپ نے خاص طور پہ کامنٹ سیکشن میں ضرور رائے دینی ہے کہ ہمارا بلاگ اگر آپ کو اچھا لگا تو پوری تفصیل کے ساتھ بتانا کہ کون کون سی چیزیں آپ کو دیہات میں سب سے اچھی لگتی ہیں. تو اب تک کا جو دیہات, یہ دیکھیں ہمارے جو کھیت ہوتے ہیں, چھوٹے چھوٹے جو کھیت ہیں, یہاں پہ ہم اپنی فصلیں سبزیاں یہاں پہ اگاتے ہیں. اس وقت دیکھیں یہ آپ کو نظر آ رہے ہیں, ہم نے کیونکہ گندم کی یہاں پہ جو فصل لگائی ہوئی ہے تو کافی مشکل ہوتا ہے یہاں پہ جو محنت کشی کرنا. ساتھ یہ دیکھیں ہم نے گندم کی یہاں پہ, کیونکہ ہم جو دیہاتی لوگ ہوتے ہیں ہلکی ہلکی محنت اپنے ساتھ جاری رکھتے ہیں. جو سبزی ہوتی ہیں وہ بھی ہم اپنی ہی کاشت کرتے ہیں. تو گندم کی جو کاشت کی ہوئی ہے اس میں اس بار موسم, خاص طور پر بارش نہ ہونے کی وجہ سے ہماری جو گندم ہے یہ آپ کو نظر آ رہی ہے بالکل ہی نہ ہونے کے برابر ہے. کیونکہ اس وقت جو یہ ٹائم جو سردیوں کا گزرا اس میں اس طرح کی شدت سے بارش نہیں ہوئی, جس کی وجہ سے نہ برف باری نہ بارش. تو ساتھ ہی ساتھ انجوائے کرتے جائیں ہمارے ولاگ کو. تو اگر آپ لوگوں کو میرا ولاگ اچھا لگا تو کامنٹ سیکشن میں ضرور رائے دینا, تاکہ ہم اس طرح کے ولاگ ولیج لائف کے جو ولیج میں ہم لوگ کس طرح کی زندگی بسر کرتے ہیں, اگر آپ بھی ولیج لائف کو انجوائے کرنے چاہتے ہیں تو موسم گرما آ چکا ہے, آپ لوگ بھی دیہاتوں کی طرف رخ کریں. اور دیہات میں خاص طور پہ جو زندگی ہے دیہات کی بڑی ہی خوبصورت ہوتی ہے یہاں پہ, کیونکہ خاص طور پہ گرمیوں میں موسم یہاں کا بڑا ہی پیارا ہوتا ہے. گرمی کی جو شدت ہوتی ہے آج کل, کیونکہ دیہاتوں میں بھی گرمی شہر کی نسبت تو بہت ہی کم ہے, لیکن پھر بھی ہم لوگوں کے لیے یہاں پہ جو گرمی ہوتی ہے وہ ہمارے لیے کافی مشکل ہے. کیونکہ شہر میں جو زندگی بسر کرتے ہیں ان کے لیے شہر کی زندگی اور شہر کی گرمی اس کو برداشت کر لیتے ہیں. لیکن جو دیہاتوں میں, کیونکہ یہاں پہ موسم سرما جو بہت طویل رہتا ہے اور کافی شدت سے سردی رہتی ہے, یہاں پہ برف باری بھی ہوتی ہے, جس کی وجہ سے ہم سردی کو بہت زیادہ مشکل اپنے حساب سے دیکھتے ہیں. لیکن جو گرمی ہے یہاں پہ ہم بڑے ہی انجوائے کرتے ہیں اس کو. تو جی کیونکہ میں ہلکا ہلکا تھوڑے آگے واک کر رہا ہوں, ساتھ ہی ساتھ آپ لوگوں کو بتاتا چلوں کہ جو دیہات کی زندگی ہوتی ہے ہم لوگ یہ دیکھیں جی کس طرح سے ہم سفر کرتے ہیں. یہ دیکھیں چھوٹے چھوٹے راستے بنے ہوتے ہیں, ان راستوں پہ ہم پیدل ایک دوسرے کے ساتھ یا ایک دوسرے کے گھروں تک مسافت کرتے ہیں پیدل. اگر شہر کی بات کی جائے, جتنی اس وقت تک میں نے مسافت کی, تو گاڑی پہ لوگ یہاں سے سفر کرتے ہیں. اسی لیے کہتے ہیں کہ جو دیہات میں رہتے ہیں وہ بہت ہی صحت مند اور تندرست رہتے ہیں. تو جی انشاءاللہ نیکسٹ ولاگ میں ہم آپ کو اپنے جو دیہات کی جو زندگی کے جو بھی ہمارے مشکلات ہیں یا جو بھی ہم اپنے دیہات میں اپنی زندگی بسر کرنے کے لیے جو اقدامات اٹھاتے ہیں ان کو ہم انشاءاللہ کوشش کریں گے نیکسٹ ولاگ میں آپ لوگوں تک. اگر آپ لوگ میرے اس ولاگ کو پسند کرتے ہیں تو کامنٹ سیکشن میں ضرور رائے دینا اور یہ بھی بتانا کہ دیہات میں آپ کو کون سی چیز سب سے اچھی لگتی ہے جس کی وجہ سے دیہات کا لوگ رخ کرتے ہیں اور دیہات میں آ کے انجوائے کرتے ہیں. تو اسی پہ اجازت دیجیے, انشاءاللہ نیکسٹ ولاگ میں آپ کی خدمت میں حاضر ہوں گے. اللہ حافظ, بائے بائے, ٹاٹا.